because we were very intentional about the way we wanted this product to look. I know that at one time when we talked about durable products, we didn't really talk about the appearance of them. We only talked about the performance. But the reality is that this is something you're going to be proud of and you're going to want to display and show off in your car, and we wanted to signal that. So we were very intentional with the design features that we put in place here. We wanted it to look very sleek and to be very high-end and look very, very high quality and very affluent. And so these were all important design considerations. We wanted it to be something you'd be proud to display in your car and that people would ask about because it looks so remarkably worthwhile. But there was other things that we learned too. In the research, we actually learned that people, when they looked at a prototype, something that didn't even work yet, but when they saw big openings, they thought, that's powerful. That's going to work really good. So we said, hey, you know what? We're going to make big openings so that it allows more airflow into the device and allows more airflow out of the device. So you can see we've got a very large exhaust port where the air comes out in the front. And there is a very big inlet port along the top so that lots of air can come in there as well. This all intuitively communicated to customers that this was a high quality, very powerful unit. And we might as well include those kind of design cues in our intentional design. So we're very pleased with how this has come out in terms of performance and appearance. Not only that, but we also needed to be very conscious about the sound generated by a device. The very last thing we want to do is make sure that our device is noisy. We do not want more distraction in the car. We do not want more obscuring of your senses so you can't see or hear what's going on in the environment. So we were very intentional to make sure that at low speed we only are generating about 40 decibels, and at high speed we're generating about 55 decibels. Now I am sure you all know exactly what a decibel is, right? Yeah, decibel is a unit of sound measure, and it's actually a logarithmic scale, which I'm sure you all know exactly what that means too. And it means that for every time that it goes up, for every unit it goes up, instead of just a one-time increase, it's actually a tenfold increase. So going from 40 to 55 is a very significant step. We want to make sure we're spending as much time in low speed as we can because, again, we don't want to necessarily generate a lot of noise within the car. For perspective, if you're standing by a jet engine, that's about 110 decibels. If you're in a noisy, sooty environment, that's about 55 decibels, or about the same level with our high-end, highest level. And if you're in a quiet suburban setting, then that's about 40 decibels. So that's a rough comparison of the amount of noise that's generated by the device. But I think you'll see that it's very, very manageable and very tolerable in the car environment. We also wanted to make sure that we had a very simple device to operate. And so we wanted to minimize the numbers of lights and buttons on the face of the device, communicating only the most critical information. So you'll see along the right side of this display up here, which I guess is the left side as you're facing the screen, you'll have an indication of filter life, and a small light will come on when it is time to replace your filter. You can see above the power button, there are 3 bars that indicate the level of contamination. 1 bar will be green, 2 bars will be yellow, and 3 bars will be red. And again, that adjusts every 10 to 15 seconds based upon the air quality at that moment. So don't be concerned if it spends a lot of time adjusting or a lot of time in one setting or another. We also have this very simple fan speed button that really has only 3 settings. It has a low speed, it has a high speed, and then it has an auto mode. And if you leverage auto mode, you can actually allow the device to go ahead and sense the amount of contamination in the environment and set the fan speed automatically so you don't even have to think about it. And then above the fan speed selector is just a simple light that indicates which setting it's actually in. Very, very simple to use, very, very simple to operate, and the buttons are of different shapes as well, so you'll very quickly know which is the power button and which is the fan selector speed if you ever need to make an adjustment. So really, again, a simple, intuitive product to go ahead and use. So as we talk about this product, the 3 key points I want to make sure that you completely understand and that you can take away and articulate in a very simple way is make sure to talk about the ability to remove 99% of PM 2.5. That is a key performance feature that we find nobody else really can deliver. That's part of what gives us the highest performance in the category. And of course, as I mentioned, we've tested among the leading competitors and find that we're about 1.5 to 2 times the amount of clean air delivery in any system. And so you can reflect that information as well. And then lastly, the first and only claim that we are able to make about being certified by British Allergy. And it is our intent to encourage the entire industry to think more and more about how exactly they test and report their device's performance. And we are encouraging more people to submit to the UK Allergy Foundation to have them go ahead and certify their product as well. More transparency